Ekaha, he one alone. Nana, nanatvam, varieties. Anvichan, so desiring. Yoga talpat, from the bedstead of mystic slumber. Samuttitaha, thus generated. Viryam, the semina. Hiranmayam, golden hue. Devaha, the demigod. Mayaya, by the external energy. Vyasrijat, perfectly created. Tridha, in three features. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. Kindly repeat. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.8, to 8, the creation and annihilation of the material world are stated as follows. Sarvabhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpado visrajamyaham prakritim swamavashthabhya visrajami punah punah bhutagramam imam kritsnam avasham prakriter vashat. At the end of each millennium, the creative forces, namely the material nature and the living entities, who struggle in the material nature all merge together into the transcendental body of the Lord, and again when the Lord desires to manifest them, all of them are again displayed by the Lord. Therefore, the material nature is working under the control of the Lord, all of them under the agency of material nature and under the control of the Lord are thus repeatedly created and annihilated by the will of the Lord. As such, before the creation of or manifestation of material cosmic world, the Lord exists as total energy, Maha Samashti, and thus desiring himself to be diffused to many, he expands himself further into multi-total energy, Samashti. From the multi-total energy, he further expands himself into individuals in 3 dimensions, namely Adhyatmik, Adidevik, Adibhautik, as explained before Vyashti. As such, the whole creation and the creative energies are non-different and different simultaneously. Because everything is an emanation from him, the Mahavishnu or Maha Samashti, nothing of the cosmic energies is different from him, but all such expanded energies have specific functions and display as designed by the Lord, and therefore they are simultaneously different from the Lord. The living entities are also similar marginal potency of the Lord, and thus they are simultaneously one with and different from him. At the stage of non-manifestation, the living energies remain potent in the Lord, and when they are let loose in the cosmic manifestation, they are exhibited differently in terms of different desires under the modes of nature. Such differential manifestations of the living entities are conditional states of living entities. The liberated living entities, however, in the Sanatana eternal manifestation, are unconditionally surrendered souls, and therefore they are not subject to the conditions of creation and annihilation. So, this creation takes place by the glance of the Lord from his bedstead of mystic slumber, and thus all the universes and the Lord of the universe, Brahma, are again and again manifested and annihilated. We will read 14th shloka also. Just we will read the shloka. Adidaivam atadhyatmam adibhutam iti prabhu athaikam purusham viryam tridha vidyata tachrinu. Translation. Just hear from me how the potency of his lordship divides one into 3, called the controlling deities, controlling entities, the controlled entities, and the material body in the manner mentioned above. Dasanda Bhakti Vedanta Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Vracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. So we are discussing the Sarga topic of Srimad Bhagavatam among the 10 topics. Sarga is the primary creation by the Lord Mahavishnu. So, Mahavishnu, he after the creation of universes, various universes from his bodily pores, and while he is in the mystic slumber on the causal ocean, he expands himself into Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and that Garbhodakashaya Vishnu enters into each of the universe, and he further from and that Garbhodakashaya Vishnu is also in mystic slumber on Garbhodaka ocean. So previously in the 8th verse, we have seen Shukadeva Goswami describing about 3 aspects, 3 features of controllers: Adibhautik, Adidaivik and Adhyatmik. And Shukadeva Goswami specifically points out to this in order for us to understand that all the 3 are interrelated, interdependent. And beyond these 3, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is supremely independent. And it is He who has actually created this interdependence. Ekam ekatara abhave. The Lord, ekam ekatara. The interrelation between 2 has been created by the Supreme Lord. That means the another person who has created this interrelation, he is completely independent of this. Here, further, Prabhupada mentions in the previous purport that now the importance of devotional service will be established by Shukadeva Goswami through different. And in these aspects, in these verses, we are seeing how these 3 features have been created by the Supreme Lord. How the 3 features and their interdependence has been created. That's why we see in the sloka that we concluded. Shukadeva Goswami says, "Just hear from me how the potency of his lordship divides 1 into 3, called the controlling deities, controlled entities, and the material bodies in the manner mentioned above." Already, Shukadeva Goswami has mentioned about the 3 features. So, how the Supreme Lord divides 1 into 3 is what the next we will be, Shukadeva Goswami will be explaining. So, already we have seen there is a interconnection between these 3, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik and Adidaivik. Adibhautik is the material body or the senses. Adhyatmik is the spirit soul, and Adidaivik, not Adidaivik. Adidaivik is the demigods. So one is the controlled and experiencer, and one more is the controller, and another is an object. Like for example, there is sunlight, there is an object of vision. Suppose you take an object, a beautiful piece of a doll, one doll. And then there is a sunlight, and then there is eye. Eye is Adibhautik. Eye is Adibhautik. Adhyatmik is the living entity, the demigods. And Adidaivik, they are the demigods. Adibhautik is the eye. Adibhautik, Adhyatmik, and Adidaivik is the demigods. Adibhautik is the living entity, Adhyatmic is the living entity. Adibhautik is the eyeball. Eyes which is seeing. Without the presence of eye, neither demigod's sunlight nor the living entity has any value. Living entity can see through the dependence on the eyeball. If sunlight is not there, eyes also have no use. Neither eye has any value, nor living entity has any value. If the object itself doesn't exist, what is the use of sunlight? So, all the three are interrelated. No one can exist independently. Just like in this material world also, we see that there is a various levels of controllers created. For example, now we are all conducting trips and all, we are organizing pilgrimage. What is that? That pilgrimage site, facilities are provided by the government. The government allows certain agencies to conduct trips. And then there are pilgrims who actually go, pilgrim or visitor, who actually go and experience that. So the experiencer is like the Adhyatmic. He goes wanting to experience that place. But he cannot experience that until facilities are created. Till facilities are created, and then there is a pilgrim organizer or a trip organizer is there. Suppose the trip organizer is like the demigod. If he is not there, he cannot, there is no proper experience for the jiva, for the visitor, he has no proper experience in the site. Suppose government does not make facilities there. What is the use? What can the coordinator do? What can the visitor do? He cannot explain. Like recently, our devotees went to Sri Lanka Ramayana Yatra. They went to a place, Sita, she burnt her Agni Pravesha Sthala, they went. For all Indians and Hindus, them so much bhava is there. So they go and but localites, they don't know all this. They are not, it's not a historical significance, neither spiritual significance. So it's a very insignificant area for them. In fact, for them it is not even counted. Agni Pravesha Sthala means it is, someone will tell also it is not recognizable. So because they not made a proper facility, experience is not there. You see? So, all three aspects, Adibhautik, Adhyatmic, Adidaivik, are all interrelated, interdependent. Beyond all this, there is a government who has actually provided the facility. If he doesn't make, and he has created the interdependence, pilgrim coordinator, tour coordinator, a tourist, and tourism place. If these three things, who has created this interdependence? It is the government. He provided license to the tourist coordinator. He provided the space. Like that. Another example we can see, suppose there is a camera. There is a camera and a cameraman is there. Camera and cameraman, and there is an object. The object is like, the cameraman is like the Adhyatmic. Camera is Adibhautik. Adidaivik is all the facilities that are provided for the camera to capture the object. Nowadays, they are creating studios for capturing, for taking photos. So these studios don't actually belong to the cameraman. He rents it. So proper lighting, all the facility will be there in the studio. He rents for some hours. The studio organizer, the person who is set up the studio, he ensures proper lighting is there, proper setup is there, all the things. The cameraman just brings the camera. Maybe camera is also not his. It's also rented. He comes, takes the photo and goes. So cameraman is like Adi Adhyatmik. He's taking. So his taking photograph is dependent on the camera. Camera has no value. If cameraman is not there and object is not there. Camera has no value, cameraman also has no value if these things are not. And there is a setup. The studio setup person is also there. If he doesn't provide facility, the studio itself, the cameraman has no value, camera has no value. So, like this, there is a interrelation between Adidevik, Adibhautik and Adhyatmik. The very fact that there is an interrelation between them, it means someone has created that interrelation. Who has created is already established by Shukadeva Goswami. Now, how it is been created, that interrelation. That's why Shukadeva Goswami mentioning here. Tridha abhidhyata tachrinu. Now you hear how one became three. Three features of controllers they have become. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has explained that before the creation or manifestation of material cosmic world, the Lord exists as total energy. And thus desiring himself to be diffused to many, he expands himself further into multi-total energy. Maha Samshti to Samshti. Multi-total energy, various energies. Each of this energy, because it is emanating from the energetic, they are same as energy only, energetic only. But because they got various functions, you cannot say that it is the energetic. Every energy is not energetic. It has got its individuality. That is Achintya Bheda, Bheda Tattva. Simultaneously one and different. Though it is the energy emanated from the Supreme Lord itself, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik, Adidevik, still they are energies. They cannot be called as energetic. They are not equivalent to energetic. But because they are connected to the Supreme Lord, they are connected to energetic, still you can always say they are same as energetic also. So it is simultaneously one with and different from the Supreme Lord. So at the stage of non-manifestation, the living energies remain potent in the Lord. And when they are let loose in the cosmic manifestation, they are exhibited differently in terms of different desires under the modes of nature. So now the living entities who have remained potent, they were not provided with bodies, they were not provided with demigods, but now they become manifested. What is the difference between varieties of manifestation? Last time we have understood that only difference is of the material body. Anna Rasamaya. A body, each living entity gets a different body based on his fruitive activities. The different varieties of fruitive activities, Papa, Punya, all these karmas that he is performing, he is provided with a material body. And one material body of a demigod, he becomes the controller, and one material body with the living entities, he becomes controlled. The difference between the two bodies is only in terms of Anna Rasamaya. It is fruitive activities. Because of fruitive activities, a certain body is like this, a certain body. So such differential manifestation of the living energies are conditional states of the living entities. So these are all the conditional states. Both are conditional states, not that demigod is liberated soul. Living entity also conditioned, demigod also conditioned. The conditioned soul in living entity's body can also become controller due to his fruitive activities, by endeavor in fruitive activities. The liberated living entities, however, in the Sanatana manifestation, in the Vaikuntha Dham, are unconditionally surrendered souls, and therefore they are not subject to the conditions of creation, annihilation. So this creation takes place by the glance of the Lord from his bedstead of mystic slumber, and thus all the universes and the Lord of the universe, Brahma, are again and again manifested and annihilated. So other than the Supreme Lord, all others, including Lord Brahma, Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate, again becomes manifest, again annihilated. In the previous chapters, we have seen Narada Muni inquiring from Lord Brahma whether, seeing the potency, power of Lord Brahma, Narada Muni is inquiring whether Brahma is supreme, whereas he independently supreme. But Narada Muni has also seen that Brahma is worshipping someone else. So he's got doubt whether you are supreme. If you are supreme, then why you are worshipping another? Why you are surrendered, worshipping? But it appears with your power that you are the supreme. It appears you are so powerful. So Lord Brahma clarifies, it is only because of illusory energy of the Lord, wherein living entities are appearing as the controllers, as the supreme. And there, Lord Brahma, he mentions, I am only a secondary creator. The primary creator is the Supreme. So, further he describes about creation. Here, that is in the 5th chapter. So, 2nd canto, 5th chapter, Lord Brahma himself describes about creation. Both Sarga and Visarga. Now, in this 10th chapter, again that description is given, but here it is given by Shukadeva Goswami. Little differences are there, but there is a interconnection is there, because both are narrated by him only. So, in the 22nd shloka of the 5th chapter of this canto, Lord Brahma says, Kalad guna vetikaraha parinamaha svabhavataha karmano janmana mahataha purushadishtad abhut. After the incarnation of Mahavishnu, the Mahatattva or the principles of material creation take place, and then time is manifest, and in course of time the three qualities appear. Nature means the three qualitative appearance, they transform into activities. Actually, why I am reading this portion is, Prabhupada, in the 5th chapter itself, Prabhupada has introduced about this Adidevik, Adibhautik and Adhyatmik concepts. Even though it comes in the 10th chapter, I will just read that portion. Mahatastu vikurvanad rajasattvo pambrimhethat tamaha pradhanastu abhavad dravyagnana kriyatmakaha. Material activities are caused by the Mahatattvas being agitated. At first, there is transformation of mode of goodness and passion, and later, due to the mode of ignorance, matter, its knowledge, and different activities of material knowledge come into play. So there are, in the previous explanation of creation, There is Mahatattva, Lord Mahavishnu creates Mahatattva, he glances, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Shri Nitai Gaurang ki. The Lord glances, because of that agitation of the Kala, there is a creation of three modes of material nature, and those three modes of material nature, by the influence of time, manifest into matter, knowledge, and different activities. Dravya, Kala, Karma, Swabhava, Jiva. So, these are all created by Mahavishnu. So, in the purport, Prabhupada is explaining, therefore, one cannot transcend the limits of material modes, and therefore, realization of the Lord, who is always transcendental to the modes of material nature, becomes very difficult for the living entities, even though prominently situated in the mode of goodness through cultivation of various methods. In other words, the gross matters are adibhutam. Their maintenance is adidaivam, and the initiator of material activities are adhyatmam. In the material world, these three principles act as prominent features, namely as raw material, its regular supplies, and its use in different varieties of material creation for sense enjoyment by bewildered living entities. So like this, actually, when we read, we should be able to interconnect between what is in the 5th chapter, what is described, and in the 10th chapter. Little, there is a difference in explanation version, but lot of interconnection is there. Already these concepts have been introduced by in Srimad Bhagavatam, and now these concepts have been elaborated further in this particular chapter. Of course, further again we will see in 3rd canto again there is a description of creation, and here we will see the detailed description of creation of sky, from sky, sound, fire, water, earth, like this each element is been created. Those were not described previously. So those detailings have been given here, the creation of all. So the conclusion is that the Supreme Lord is the controller of all the three, Adibhotik, Adhyatmik, Adidaivik. And all the three, the interrelation is created by the Supreme Lord. And He is supremely independent of all this. So that is the entire conclusion that Srila Prabhupada has given here. So all this for us to understand the importance of devotional service. The Supreme Lord, who has created all this, is beyond all that. We don't have to depend on any interdependent resources. We have to surrender to the Supreme Lord, who is completely independent. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam, that Supreme Lord only. No requirement of any in-between intermediates who are also interdependent on other features. That's why Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Sahayagna Prajasishta Puro. I created the dependence between demigods and living entities. So if living entity worships demigods, thinking that they are supreme, they are ultimate. No. That dependence also created by the Supreme Lord. So why not worship the Supreme Lord directly? That is an intelligent human being. Okay. So we'll close here. Any questions?
there is a cameraman and there is a camera. Now in this cameraman, you told Adhyatmic, camera and studio owner. In that gradation, I just want to clear. Means if I take in terms of there is a creator and there are three things which are being created. Now from Vishnu, Mahavishnu, three things have been emanated. Adhyatmic, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik. Now studio owner is considered as here the role of a Supreme Lord or?
No. In that example, the government is the Supreme Lord. Government is giving the facility to create a studio. Studio may be created by someone, but finally the government is the one who is the owner of everything. Whether we accept or not, government is the owner of everything. But government has provided a facility to make a studio. So someone has made a studio. Someone has rented the studio for a particular purpose. Rented or whatever. He made the studio facility, created, and is maintaining that studio. Understood, no? So, me, who want to experience the camera, want to use that camera, I am a user of that camera. I go to the studio and utilize that facility. But who created that facility? Who is the controller of that facility? That is the owner or the renter, one who has rented that space for making the studio. Understood, no? But who, just like I will give another example, there is nowadays they are using that startups. So government is providing a startup space. What do they call? Incubation center they provide. Who created that building, space and all of that? Government is making. So government puts one more agency. Government makes only building. But the facility required for making incubation center will be made by some other agency who is expert into this field. Government will give, they don't want to go into details. So when a user wants to use that center, what he will do? He will say, no sir, I am going to make a business for delivery. I need a software for this. I need computers. I need internet. I need lights. I need table and chair. So what will this agency do? He will provide all of this. Understood, no? So he is not the owner. He is facilitator. He is providing. He is controlling. So user, he cannot go, suppose one small cubicle is given to him. He cannot go beyond, okay, I will use the other cubicle also. No. He is being restricted to this area. Who is doing all of that? That the facilitator of that entire building is going to do. So like that. So government becomes like the Supreme Lord. The agency who is given the building for facilitating this incubation center so that startups can be grown is actually like a demigod. Demigods provide the facilities. Okay, you want to live properly. You are saying, I want rains. Okay, do your yagna, I will provide rains. Demigods will provide. You want water? Okay, do some yagna, I will provide water. Okay, you want sunlight and good health? Okay, do some yagna, I will provide. So like that, demigods will provide the facilities. They are controller. If you want to see, sunlight has to be existing. Sun has to permit for us to see. Like that they are providing. But who is actually seeing? It is the living entity who is seeing. And who is providing that instrument to see? The senses. That's the Supreme Lord is given. The Supreme Lord provides the senses, object of the senses. He creates even the object of the senses also. That even demigods are not creating. They are facilitating. They are not totally creating that object of the sense. All this. So who is providing that entire facility? Whose brain it is? Whose idea it is? Like this it has to be. This he becomes the agency. He becomes the living entity. He becomes the controller. This facility has. All that thing is provided by the government or the Supreme Law. Nowadays, there is a concept of office spaces, co-working space they call. What is that? It is like, suppose I have a business and I want to have my own office. To make my own office, I have to invest so much money in the city center or anywhere. So now they are making a common building where you can rent a small office. It will be more cheaper. And he will provide everything. You don't have to worry about chair, table, internet, all that. Just pay rent to him, he will provide everything. And he will provide for you one small cubicle, another fellow some 10 cubicles. How many space you want? That much. You have to just tell these many employees. He will provide you space. But originally, who made that building? That is by the owner has made. He would have outsourced that to some agency. That agency is ensuring that office spaces are provided. He also gets money out of it. Like this. So this interrelation is there. So many levels of interdependencies are there. So that is Adibhautik, Adhyatmik and Adidaivik. I'm just various circumstances, I give examples. These are various levels of dependencies are there. In our real life, if we get.
He manifested varieties of living entities through the external energy out of his desire.
Yeah, out of his desire. If his desire is not there, nothing will happen.
The Lord has created these things because of his desire only. So where we are, మనం తప్పు చేసాము ఇక్కడికి వచ్చామని దాని మీదకి ఆయన డిజైర్తో ఆయనే క్రియేట్ చేశాడు ఈ వరల్డ్ అంతా అని పబ్లిక్ అని చదివితే ఇలా అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకుంటారు హౌ టు make him.
It can be reverse interpreted also. Because living entity desired, therefore Lord made, means living entity is more powerful than Lord. Like that also reverse. So it can always be interpreted in various ways. So here the purpose of mentioning that out of Lord's desire means Lord is the supreme, independent desirer. His desire is not dependent on anyone's, it is not related on them. Because living entity asked, therefore God, out of his own choice, he created. He is independent. He is not dependent on anyone. It is his desire. Without his desire, nothing can happen. That's the entire thing here is to stress the point that Lord is independent, supremely independent. Just previous sloka also, he has mentioned, he creates and he winds it up out of his free choice, out of his freedom. Even though it is created for the living entities, because the living entity desired, the facility is given by the Lord too. But still, the Lord is completely independent. If he wants, he can wind up today also. Or again he can create also. But so he is totally independent. To stress that point that he is totally abhignaswarat, independent. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.